Viridian is an album that honestly frustrates me, as I feel like the album has a split of what I like from Temperance and some stuff that they tried that I didn't think that worked. And just to tell you in the album in order when it starts to happen for me, it's right after Nanook. There's a few songs before that which are, I would say, probably not the best, but they're fine. But I want to say that when they got signed with Napalm Records and they switched labels and that, I was like, oh, cool, Temperance, they got a new record label and all that. And I was really hoping for this album to be pretty good because with Of Jupiter and Moons being janky and I enjoyed its jank for all the wrong reasons, with Viridian, I was hoping for them to go back to stuff like The Earth Embraces Us All, where it was a bit more fast paced. And that happens in the first half of this album, and that's, the good parts of the album is when they're going back to what they're good at. And honestly, I feel like that's what the band needed. They needed to have this, you know, standardized kind of be like, this is what we're good at, just to show, Napalm's audience, hey, we're Temperance and this is what we do, and there are people who enjoy that to maybe go back and listen to their other stuff or whatever. I feel like they just needed a consistent album that was pretty safe, and for the most part, Viridian does achieve this. As I said, it has that half where it's not too good because they throw in way too many slow songs towards the end and it starts to get kind of boring. To be real with you, I started to get pretty frustrated and I took a, probably about 2 hour break from listening to this album because it just pissed me off that there was that many. But let me start with the good first. Mission Impossible, the intro track of this album, is fantastic. Some other good ones in there are Viridian and Start Another Round, and to a lesser extent, Nanook for being a song that just interested me, even though that one kind of cheats. Or as well as that song that had opera vocals thrown in at the start, which they didn't really do anything with. So maybe this is trying to show you what I'm seeing. I feel like they had parts of the album where they just made it safe and it was like, hey, this is for you guys. This is for if you just want to hear standard Temperance. Here's a few songs that are a bit more out of their comfort zone, and that's fine. And then you just get to the last few songs in the album, and they're all just slow songs, and they just felt so similar to each other. I just got so bored. It was just frustrating to listen to. To be completely honest, I didn't actually listen to the final song of the album doing a full album listen. I listened to this song on Christmas and I saw the song on the album and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that song. It was alright. I don't really feel like listening to it, so I didn't listen to it again. I felt like I didn't need to. I was honestly just so bored and I just didn't want to do that. I just didn't want to listen to it, I guess. And I knew it would make my experience with the album worse. And I mean, it's not really going to affect my score for this album. But I genuinely wanted this album to be just a solid foundation for the band. I thought it would have just been nice for them to have just an album that was solid and safe. I know that would probably annoy a lot of people to hear, but Temperance really need that. Because all they've really got are a few songs that are pretty big and then other ones which are okay. I mean, go up to someone that's probably listened to Temperance or who has said that they've listened to Viridian and see if they can list off any of those other songs to say that they're good. I mean, you'll find a few other people out there, but I doubt that most of the Temperance listeners have probably heard them. They've probably heard stuff like Revolution, Haze, Of Jupiter and Moons, and to an extent Broken Promises, Last World and the World of Hopes. Those songs. The more catchy kind of radio songs. So I hope you see my point. Now, to wrap this up, I'm going to give this a solid 6.5. I don't think the album is terrible. I don't think it does anything too poorly. I mean, apart from having too many slow songs towards the end that I start to get real bored. But the other stuff that's in there is just genuinely fine. It's genuinely good. Mission Impossible is a fantastic song, which I would highly recommend to anyone that wants to listen to Temperance. Go listen to that, and then maybe Revolution, Broken Promises, Haze, with Jupiter and Moons, stuff like that. But I would recommend Mission Impossible first because it's such a good song, and it's a shame that it's the first song on this album that's, for the most part, pretty good, followed by just a poor ending. I think that's what hurts it the most.